Hey, everybody.
Hello.
I am admitting the board first, and then we can, I think, then we can start. How is everyone?
Doing well. I heard recording in progress, so I'm turning my camera off because I'm just
Okay. Let's see. Do I guess I will share the screen unless you want to, Corey.
I'll let you do it.
Okay.
I always defer tech questions to anybody else,
Okay.
unless I have to deal with it.
Admit Rob. Who else? Claire. Okay, so I can advance all of the slides for everybody. I think I have the bulk of them,
Great,
and then
thank you.
the next is Corey. So I think that probably makes the most sense. I don't know if everyone who's speaking has their stuff written out in the script, or if you have your own, you're just winging it, or you have your own something saved somewhere. But I have a script written out, and I kind of have like next slide to remind myself to forward the slides, and then I have like the name of the person who's going to be speaking. So if you need that, let me know.
Yeah, just so you know, on my end, I'm just kind of winging it, so I'll just let you know when to advance.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Yeah, fine with me.
Thanks.
I am like overly prepared and like have to write everything down, which I generally like don't follow it, but it like helps me figure out what I'm gonna say. So
Yeah.
that's how it works. Okay. Travis, I think you were the last to join. I was just saying I'm gonna I'll share my screen and advance the slides. So just let me know. And I think that's the bulk of us. And I will go ahead and admit everybody. Admit all. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Super excited to see so many of you here today. And we will get started in just 1 minute. And I think the last time I practiced this with some of the board members, I might have had an issue sharing my second monitor. So we'll see if that works. And I apologize for background noise. Let's see. Okay. All right, I'm going to attempt to share my screen. And if somebody on the board can unmute and let me know if you are seeing the right thing. We go into slideshow. What do you see? Good? Okay. Thanks, Corey. All right. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Leanna Hauser. And by day, I am the Sustainability Manager for Zero Waste at Johns Hopkins University. And in between all of the work and at home life, I am the chair of the CURC Board of Directors. I'm excited to welcome all of you to the 2023, 2024 members meeting. And I always look forward to having everybody here so that we can connect and celebrate our collective work that is only possible with everyone here, not just the board, but all of our members and non-members who contribute and participate, and really look forward to what we can accomplish in 2024. Corey, can I ask you to admit people as they're coming in? Thank you. Okay, so if you aren't already familiar with CURC, I imagine most of you are because you've received the invite and the emails. But just to sort of bring everybody up to speed on the same page, CURC represents over 900 recycling and sustainability champions in higher education, ranging in positions and roles from custodial, grounds, recycling supervisors, directors of sustainability, coordinators, managers, students, faculty. And so we're really excited to have so many dedicated professionals and champions to help support our collective work. The board of directors is made up of an amazing group of dedicated volunteers. I want to stress the word volunteer, representing schools from, or representing the recycling, zero waste, and sustainability staff in higher education. We hail from 10 states, from the Northeast to the South, to the Midwest, and the Pacific Northwest, from all sizes and varieties of higher education institutions, including community colleges, public and private schools, liberal arts and research, and HBCU. We are committed to supporting you, our fellow waste reduction and diversion champions, at colleges and universities across North America to advance sustainable materials management in higher education and foster the exchange of best practices to achieve zero waste and a circular economy. So before we get to the main event, I want to go over some housekeeping. This meeting, as you know, when you entered, is being recorded, which means we will share it with you. We will do so in an upcoming newsletter. When you entered, you were put on mute, but we welcome you to remain muted while someone's presenting, but feel free to post questions in the chat. And at any time, you can raise your hand to ask a question, make a comment. And so in the middle of a presentation, if you have a question or want to make a comment, you can just raise your hand and we'll recognize you and you can unmute and ask your question. So you don't have to hold everything to the end. Okay, so our agenda for today is, again, every year we like to review what we were up to in 2023. We want to introduce our new board members who aren't really new anymore. They've been board members since June, but we want to recognize them as well as all of our amazing current veteran board members. Our big event that we're excited to share today is rebranding reveal. So we spoke last year with you all about our rebranding effort for our logo and mission. So we'll be sharing that and also the results from our annual survey. Hopefully we'll have time at the end for questions and comments, but again, I encourage you to ask questions throughout the meeting as they come up. Okay, so let's go with the 2023 review. In case you weren't following CURC's every move last year, we'd like to share a rundown of all that we did in 2023, and again, celebrate our collective work, which included contributions from you. So again, we were all together last year for our 2023 members meeting around the same time to share our accomplishments in 2022 and plan for 2023. So thank you for your attendance back then last year and your contributions and attendance today and the rest of the year. The main activity, as you're probably aware, for CURC is our webinar series, which we always enjoy producing for you. And I want to give a huge shout out and thanks to the Marketing Programs Committee, chaired by Corey Berman, who you'll hear from in a minute. He oversees the coordination of all of our webinars with his illustrious committee members. And you'll see we covered a lot of topics in 2023, from residence halls to laboratories, so to very challenging environments, how to conduct waste audits and use that information to better serve and improve your programs, edible food waste recovery, how to make our programs financially sustainable, not just sustainable environmentally, but financially, and areas that we can address justice, equity, diversity, inclusion, and zero waste. We hope you attended them and enjoyed them. If you did not, they are available on our YouTube channel. Some of them are on our website links. Some of them, unfortunately, are not. We're in the process of trying to upgrade the website eventually. So if you want to access one of those and you aren't able to, you can email us and we'll share our email at the end of the presentation. As I mentioned, we're very excited to announce and reveal our rebranding, but we took some time last year to think about how CURC and the waste and sustainability field has evolved and how that evolution can better be reflected in our name, logo, and mission. So you will soon hear from Margaret Bounds. Big shout out to her, who chaired the rebranding effort. So you may have noticed that CURC did not host a fall workshop this year, as we felt the sustainability and waste related workshop space, particularly virtual, was pretty saturated. So we held off in offering anything, but instead several CURC board members attended ASHE in Boston and identified as they were there a really greater need for, or a need for greater emphasis and access to waste related issues and sessions, and definitely some collaboration among the many advocacy groups and individuals that at their annual workshop. So we want you to stay tuned, and you'll hear, probably hear from us about what we hope to accomplish in the fall of 2024 alongside ASHE. In December, we as a board gathered, as we do every year, for our annual retreat, in which we have the chance to connect a little bit more socially than we do on monthly board meetings. And this year, we focused on evaluating the organization's goals and established our 2024 priorities, including a possible virtual vendor expo. And what we were hoping to do, and I will ask Travis if he could keep an eye on the screen and take account, we'd love to gauge your interest in attending a virtual vendor expo. So this would involve, we'd invite vendors in the waste and sustainability fields to showcase their services to all of you virtually. We'd have maybe rooms set up where you could join different vendors and they could give you a pitch and then you could go on to another room. So something kind of like what you would see at ASHE as an expo, but it would be virtually and it would be free. So if you could please right now give a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you think you would attend this free online event. And hopefully there's lots of thumbs up because Travis has done an amazing job with some other folks to start planning this initiative. And we want to make sure that it is something that will be well received. So as you count that, I will continue. Lastly, I wanted to point out the success of our Google group Recycle in engaging all of you on important topics, sharing best practices and resources, and sometimes just good old venting that we all need. And I took a look, and in 2023, there were 128 individual conversations started, and obviously lots of conversations within each topic. So we're glad that that's a great resource for you to share with each other and communicate. So keep it up in 2024. Now I'd like to hand it over to Travis Blomberg, our vice chair, and he is going to introduce our new board members and recognize our veteran members. And before I do, I want to say that I'm extremely grateful to Travis for his willingness to take on this leadership role. And I'm very excited about the strategic vision that he brings to the position.
Thank you, Leanna. And hi, everyone. So in the summer of 2023, we welcomed 2 new board members in Carly Thibodeau and Claire Heyer. So Carly and Claire, if you'd like just to quickly raise your hand, say hi to everybody. And then
Hi,
I'll,
hi
yes,
everyone. Really happy to be part of the board, joining the team. So thanks.
awesome.
I
And then I
believe
do,
Carly
is
is,
Carly out?
yeah, she actually is in a compliance workshop, so she wasn't able to join.
Sounds great. And then I just want to also just thank everyone who sits on committees and all the board members for all the great work that they do. So thank you, Shahid, Corey, Margaret, Kevin, Leah, Liz, Leanna, Rob, Ao, and Jamie. Thank you so much for all the work that you do.
Thanks, Travis. You know, as I mentioned, we are all volunteer, and so we continue to be grateful for all of the board members that served before and built this organization, as well as the current board members, and wanted to mention two folks who rolled off the board this year. Liz Ginalat, who joined the board in June of 2020 and served as the JEDI committee chair for 2 years. She rolled off this past December. And I want to thank Liz for her thoughtfulness and leadership and dedication to CURC. And we'd also like to thank Franklin Cantor, who joined the board in 2019 and served 4 years, 2 of which as secretary. Just wanted to point out that you don't have to be on the board to participate in a committee. So if you are interested in any of the committees that you see named on the screen, please reach out to us, curc3r@gmail.org, and let us know that you'd like to join. It's a nice way to understand how the board works, and then maybe decide if you want to apply to be on the board. So now I'd like to turn it over to Margaret Bounds, who dutifully and passionately coordinated CURC's rebranding effort, and she has the honor of the big new branding reveal, which I'm very excited about. Take it over to you, Margaret.
All right. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here today. So just a little background on why we did this, if you didn't hear all this last year. But since CURC was founded in the 1990s as the College and University Recycling Coalition, we have always focused on bringing together waste, recycling, and sustainability leaders in higher education for the sharing of best practices, challenges, and ideas. But recently, with the evolving nature of our work, for some of us, much less focus on recycling and more focus on waste prevention, composting, the circular economy, we wanted the mission and vision of the organization to reflect that shift and not feel so heavily focused on recycling in our sort of look and name. We had a participatory process over about 1.5 years that we used to develop both new language for CURC and a new logo that we're going to share with you in just a minute. So this slide just gives you a quick overview of the process that we went through. We did a online survey of some of our members, some of our alumni board of directors, members, and key partners to get a sense of how they were feeling about the current CURC branding. Got really good feedback from them, and sort of an affirmation that we were sharing the same feelings about the mission not really reflecting our current work. So we had committee meetings around monthly. We actually hired a student from the University of the Arts in Philadelphia to create the logo for us. And this past fall, we presented the language and logo to the board, which was then adopted unanimously. So I'm going to ask for the next slide. Our first sort of reveal, I guess.
Drum roll.
Yeah. That our name will actually be changing to CURC, a community of zero waste champions in higher education. So as a board, we plan to transition to using CURC as a name, not as an acronym, similar to what Apple went through. If you're familiar with them, they don't really use APA as an acronym anymore. But if it is helpful to you to continue to think of us as the College and University Recycling Coalition, or to explain what CURC is using those words, then obviously we support that as well. But you will start to see a transition in how we sort of refer to ourselves. So this is our new name and tagline that we'll be using. All right, next slide. This slide, I believe we shared these with you last January as drafts, but this is our the final language for our new mission and vision statement. This language really came from the survey responses and the rebranding committee. I feel like we sort of immediately landed on where we wanted to go with the language because CURC has been so focused on connecting people and providing resources. We wanted that to be the primary focus of the mission statement. So our new mission is to connect and support people advancing sustainable materials management in higher education by fostering the exchange of best practices to achieve zero waste and a circular economy. So it's similar to our old mission, but we wanted to put people first and expand sort of the language that we were using around waste. And then CURC actually never had a vision statement before, so we felt like we wanted to add that to give that bigger perspective to why we're actually all doing this work. And so our new vision is to advance a just and sustainable society for all by solving the social and environmental challenges of waste. So hopefully those are resonating with you. And that's what we'll be working towards as a board to kind of uphold as our organizational mission. All right, so you can go to the next slide, which will show our new logo. So this is our new look that you'll start to see on our website and social media after today. We've been working, one of our board members has been really battling the old website. So those changes will be coming really soon. But we know it's maybe not groundbreaking, but we're really excited about it, trying to show that circularity in the logo. We kept our little motorboard cap to keep that connection to higher education, and just kind of gives us a little bit of a fresher look. And we know that some of you have been around with CURC for a long time, and I just wanted to say that we've really tried to work throughout this process to be respectful of the history of the organization, the original mission, and really the reason that it was founded. And while our name and look might be changing, our focus remains on supporting all of you in reducing and managing campus waste, and that's what we're going to continue to do going forward. So as I said, after today, you'll begin to see these changes on our website, social media, and in newsletters, and we'll send this out as an official announcement as well. So if you want to take a closer look at at all of the new branding, that will come out soon. So I believe the next section is the survey. I just want to pause if there are any comments or questions that anyone has about how we landed on this.
Feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like. Take the silence as resounding like
Okay.
excitement and love for it.
Great. Yeah, no one's bringing the pitchforks for us. So. All right.
Thank you so much, Margaret. This was a year-long endeavor, and I really appreciate your organization and dedication, and overseeing as the student, Levi, and also a huge shout out to Leah, who has been tirelessly working behind the scenes to just understand our website and make some transitions there. So I really appreciate that work. And yeah, so as Margaret mentioned, we're going to pass it on to Corey, who is going to share the results of the 2023 annual survey, which hopefully many of you on the call participated in.
Thank you, Leah, and thank you, Margaret. And again, everybody, big shout out to the rebranding team. And I just want to, again, welcome everybody here today, this afternoon, to our members meeting. It's wonderful to have folks here. And like a lot of our jobs, you know, this is really a labor of love for folks, especially us here. We're all volunteers, and we're always looking for not just new members and committee members, but folks who maybe want to participate in webinars. You don't necessarily have to. I'll get to that a little bit, but you don't necessarily have to be on the board to participate in some of these things. So as opportunities arise, we're always encouraging folks to get involved in the newly rebranded CURC when you can. So happy to hear from folks today and moving forward. I'm going to talk a little bit about the member survey. We had 31 respondents to the survey representing 24 schools, including 7 directors and 1 faculty. We're really hoping to push more, you know, the traditional makeup of CURC has been more of an operationally focused organization, but as we move into this new year and our new rebranding, we're really hoping to reach out across the board on campuses and reach out to more administrative folks, faculty folks, students. So whoever's out there on your campus, you know, if you think CURC could be beneficial to your organization, please feel free to connect us with folks, and we'd love to see these numbers increase. Next slide, please. Which of the following best represents your racial ethnic heritage? As you can see, we are a very, very white organization, and we'd love to increase that diversity. Our last webinar session of 2023 was a Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion webinar in the world of zero waste, and I realize it's a pretty niche subject matter, but again, as we look to increase our representation at schools across the country and organizations across the country, we need your help to make that happen. We're always looking for opportunities on how to do that. And so if you have any suggestions, ways, encouragement, connections, please, again, reach out to anybody here, and we'll see if we can increase these numbers as we move forward into 2024. Next slide. Which CURC resources do you find valuable? Webinars has always been our sort of #1 offering. We get a lot of great feedback on the webinars, and that's no different here. That was the #1 resource that folks found valuable, which is great. We love producing them and putting them on for folks. It's really, again, an opportunity for us to connect with a wide range of people at different campuses and encourage some great discussions. So again, I'd encourage folks to not only sign up for the webinars when they're announced, but also feel free to be a presenter or even be a moderator if you so choose. We'd love to have folks out there, and we're going to continue with that into 2024. We'll talk a little bit more about webinars a little later on in the program today, but we'll let folks know that the February webinar is currently being produced in the background. We hope to send some more information and a link to register for that one shortly. Second up is information on the CURC newsletter, which is wonderful. And then third is, which I think is just a great resource, is the Recycle listserv. As you saw in an earlier slide, there was, I think, 126 or 128 conversations in the last year, and it's just such a wonderful resource. You know, the old saying, old tricks are the best tricks, and I think it's just such a good opportunity for folks to post their questions, to post their thoughts, and just continue that conversation. I've learned so much information over the years from folks posting, and I've been one of those people who, you know, I won't post for a year, and then I'll post 3 questions in the same day. But again, if that's an opportunity for folks to get involved, as we cycle through our jobs too, as people take on new jobs in the world of sustainability, as they retire or they get a job out of college, you know, let's promote that Recycle listserv as best we can, because it's just a great opportunity for us to connect with each other and for us to chat with folks and get some great answers. So that Recycle listserv is wonderful. Next slide, please. Providing the level of satisfaction of the CURC webinars this year. Luckily for the most, well, 3 out of 3 are very satisfied. I think the next one are satisfied. So slight room for improvement on a few of those ones. But overall, across the board, people are either very satisfied or satisfied with the webinars that we offered in 2023, which is great. There's always a survey after those webinars, and just like any survey, we take that information very seriously, and we do our best to customize and provide feedback and offer webinars that we think are going to be useful for folks across the board. So we do appreciate that response that we get every time, and we'll be doing that right out before for 2024 as well. Future webinar topics. Again, as I mentioned, the February one is in the works right now, which is great. We're going to be talking about the Inflation Reduction Act and the Build Back Better program, and sort of an overview of funding opportunities that higher education institutions can take to increase sustainability outcomes on campus. I'm very excited to present that one towards the end of February. So again, look out for the registration link and more information about that. Waste avoidance strategies came in as number one. Obviously, that's something we can always look at. It's always evolving, especially as we enter, the world of social media, and people are learning how to use new platforms and new ways to connect with the campus populations. Waste-free events is a big one. Waste reduction and diversity is a big one. But again, as we move forward, we want to hear from you as to how we can, as to what webinars you're interested in us presenting. Next slide. And Leanna, do I knock this back to you now?
Hello, I just started writing in the group chat that for some reason, I know we've done a poll every year for people to select the next 5 topics, and can't for the life of me figure out how to do the poll. It's not showing up in options. So I was going to put the topics in the chat, and we'll just have people comment on, that we have 5 topics that we need to choose for the remaining series after February. So just as we're going through the rest of the presentation and meeting, people can pop in the chat which ones, your top 2 or 3. So apologies that we're not doing a formal vote.
Thank you. And maybe that's something we can work on and send out on the recycle listserv as well after the fact. So continuing on, one of the questions was, share what you think CURC could do to remove barriers that prevent Black, Indigenous, and people of color, other marginalized communities from participating in CURC activities and events. And obviously more and continued outreach is huge. And featuring more speakers, representing minority groups, reaching out to those groups. I think a lot of it is just identifying folks who are interested and connecting them with us. So again, we really hope that folks out there can use your connections as the bridge between those folks and CURC, so we can make that connection. Some questions here about creating sustainability course curriculum that gets maybe a little bit outside of our scope, but it's certainly something that perhaps we can talk to or have a webinar about. And encouraging supervisors and leadership to offer those workshops. I think that's, again, great. So anytime you see these things come up, we always know that anytime there's a posting, we say, please share widely. But again, just encouraging folks to do that. I know we get a lot of stuff in our inbox every day in email, but we always count on your connections through your campus community to really help to share these things far and wide, whether it's the community at your school. A lot of folks have outside communities as well. They work with other volunteer organizations. They might be connected with K-12 organizations. A lot of this information can be useful. It's not necessarily just higher ed focused, even though that's where it is. A lot of this stuff can bleed out to other organizations. So we always want that spread far and wide as much as possible. Next slide, please. And again, please, the question here, please sharing ways CURC could improve recruitment of these folks. Again, just kind of reiterating and doubling down what I just mentioned, reaching out to some of the historically Black colleges and universities, finding community organizations and marginalized communities. Sometimes there can be language barriers. So if there's an opportunity to bridge that gap through translation services or things like transcreation services in graphics, if there's opportunities there that we can help out with, we'd love to do that. And just, again, sending out those invitations to those folks, just letting them know that they're welcome, letting them know that this organization exists. And that's really the first step. And if people have questions, before they get involved, any one of us here on the board are happy to connect with those folks and answer questions and see how we can encourage more people to take advantage of, whether it's on the webinars, whether it's the Recycle listserv, whatever that might be, or if they're seeing something that we don't offer, we really would love that feedback to see how we can encourage folks to join our ranks and get involved. So we are doing the best we can, but we can always use more help. That's for sure. Next slide. And this is great. Do you feel welcomed, respected, supported, and valued to participate fully in the CURC community? Happy to say that everyone answered yes, 100%. So that's wonderful. Do I believe it? I'm not sure, but it is 100%. So again, we're really great to see that, because we really want to be a welcoming organization. And as the world of sustainability grows and grows and grows, one thing my own personal mantra is that recycling is the gateway to sustainability. I think it's the first thing that a lot of people come into contact with at universities, whether they're a student, faculty member, staff member. Still one of those things that people kind of gravitates towards when they think of the environmental actions and sustainability. So we hope CURC can be sort of an opening for folks who may not be as yet involved in the sustainability movement. So great to see that folks are feeling fully welcomed. I think that might be it for me. Yeah, your input is very valuable. So again, whether it's the survey once a year or webinars that you join us, or just anytime, please feel free to reach out. If there's any feedback we can provide, we're here for you. So thanks so much. I'll turn it back over to Leanna.
Thank you, Corey. And thank you again, everybody. One thing that we do struggle with, and, in addition to the saturation of workshops, is survey fatigue. We had a lower turnout or response rate to this year's survey. And so we want to talk as a board on how we can improve that. And again, improve on a lot of the other things that Corey shared with you. So we encourage you, when you do see the survey coming out, to please take it. And if you have suggestions for things that we should be asking, we tend to ask the same questions every year, so we can track our progress or track what we're not improving on. So please feel free to always communicate with us how we can do better. And I'm gonna pause, and we have like almost for a full 30 minutes, about 24 minutes of time left, which we don't have to use. But want to, again, encourage you to continue posting your preferences for webinar topics in the chat, and go ahead and unmute yourself or raise your hand if you want, or put any questions or comments you might have in the chat about, CURC and the work that we do, suggestions for other work other than the webinars, and some of the other things that we focus on. We're always looking to make sure that we serve everybody in the best, most effective and relevant way possible. So.
Hey, Leanna, since the survey didn't work, I did just create a Google form.
Oh.
If you'd like me to just send that out so we can tabulate stuff. I don't want people to post twice, but I'll put that in the chat, and then that might be an easier way for us to grab that, and then we can, continue the conversations.
Yes, thank you for doing that behind the scenes. I appreciate it. Cool. I'm actually going to stop sharing, because I feel like that's one way that's a little bit impersonal when people want to chat. Again, feel free to ask any questions about what it's like to be on the board if you want to participate, but maybe don't know, or again, participate in a committee. I have a feeling we will have a website upgrade committee, ad hoc committee coming soon. And again, you see Leah giggling, smirking, smiling. There's going to be a lot of work, there.
We have a question from Celeste.
Hi, everyone. So nice to see you. And yeah, grateful to be part of this community and all the great work you do. I think it's really exciting updates. I had a question about the vendor showcase that you're planning. Is that something where vendors would pay to opt in? Is that something that people, yeah, what's kind of the structure of how you would determine who the vendors would be, how you would determine who the attendees would be, and just maybe a little bit more detail on how that would work.
That's a Travis question.
Yeah, I can take this one. Hey, Celeste. Yeah, so it's this is a concept that our board put together. We discussed it, and it's a way for us to not only a fundraiser for our organization, but for people like me and members of CURC who deal with the day in and day out is I want to see a lot of these vendors, but I don't have the time to see them. I get spammed often by them. And I truly do want to see the new technology. I want to see what's out there. So instead, like for people like me and all of you, we thought it would be a big it would be advantageous to put together this virtual vendor webinar, and then so allow space and be able to block that time off on your calendar, and then go to the vendors that are applicable to you or the things that you are tackling at your university. For the vendors, we've talked with a lot of them, just kind of discuss this idea in passing, and it would be like you said, vendors would pay a small sum of money to be able to present, and the selection criteria hasn't been established yet, but we're in the workings for that. But the idea is that organizations that would help our member base to get those either products or services at their universities, that's who we want to be highlighting. So I think, Celeste, you with True, like that would be a good organization to be a vendor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. So that's great. That answers the question. Thank you so much.
Yep.
It sounds like a really cool idea.
Thanks.
Thanks, Travis, for answering that. Thanks, Corey, for pointing me to Tim's question. He said I missed the early discussion about committees. Can you repeat that? So absolutely. So CURC has a couple standing committees. One is board development. One is marketing and programs that puts on the webinars. And we have a finance committee. And we have a JEDI committee, Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion. So those are the standing committees that we have. And we welcome anyone. We might need to have a discussion about participation in the finance committee. I don't know how transparent, we probably should be transparent, but anyway, please reach out to us if you have any questions or interest in any of the committees, and we will definitely have a conversation about that. As I mentioned, we had the ad hoc rebranding committee, which kind of rolled into a rollout committee, and it's going to keep rolling down the road to a website upgrade committee, which if you have experience and you're really just like in love with how to make websites more engaging and what you think we should be focusing on our website, they're interactive, and you have the skills and the desire, please reach out, and we would love to have your help. I think, did I miss any committees? I don't think so.
Thanks, Leanna. And also, so I just want to pivot a little bit to the folks who are putting in the chat their recommendations or favorites for the 2024 webinars. And again, I just want to reiterate that, you could be a part of the webinar program. You don't necessarily need to be a presenter, but if you want to be, you can be. If you want to be a moderator, you can be, or even if you just want to help behind the scenes. For example, somebody said they recently wrote a zero waste plan at their university, and they'd be happy to assist on that. So, you don't necessarily have to be a presenter or a moderator. If you want to be behind the scenes, we'd love to hear from you. You could pitch some tips or some tricks or some learned lessons, and we could fold those into future webinar topics as well. So again, there's a lot of ways to participate. It doesn't necessarily have to be in front of the camera. So I just want to put that out there.
And Corey, I'll just add to that we have an interest form on our website that it kind of vacillates every year between or not every year, but throughout the year, it's like once we know all of our topics, we'll send out, we have the form where you can say, I would like to present on this topic. We've decided the topics ahead of time. And you can, say, I want to present on it, or I want to moderate, or I have a suggestion for someone, a school or whatever, who could share about this topic. So we will send that out. And, once we have finalized the remaining 5 topics, or including the February one, if we send it out soon enough, we can get you on board for that. And then we also have a form that suggests future topics. So that one is, we kind of keep a running list throughout the year that we can then, add to the 2025 roster of what we want to put out in the survey for you all to vote on. So there's 2 different forms. One is the already identified survey or webinar topics, and then there's the general suggestions. And Travis answered the question that was posed. So yes, email him if you are interested in helping out with or participating in the vendor expo. And give one more opportunity for anyone to unmute or put a question in the chat. I believe, Leah, I think, is the new website, I just saw Rob posted the website web address, and you had sent a staging link that showed the new logo and colors, but I don't know if it's live yet.
Not live yet. So
Okay.
the link that Rob just posted will look like the good old website. But hopefully in the next day or 2, we'll have the new logo up on the website. And I'll just sort of echo Leanna's encouragement. If you have any interest, even if you don't have experience in website, but you sort of like to think about them or have an artistic eye, definitely put your name in the chat. Let us know, because I think we're going to be diving into that in this coming year.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, well, we'd love for you to connect with us. We have lots of different ways. Again, we'll be updating our website, but it's still curc3r.org and will remain curc3r.org no matter what we change the name to or what colors we use. It'll still be that. We have the Recycle group, Google group, as we mentioned, and that's, I think, between that and the webinars is kind of our bread and butter. Again, our whole mission is to connect and support, and those 2 do that. Again, we have the curc3r@gmail.com. So if you are interested in participating in any way or have questions about the board or the vendor expo, forget Travis's email address. You can always email us there. And don't forget about our socials. We have Facebook, X, I guess, Twitter. We update the logo there, but I'm sort of like refusing to. LinkedIn and Instagram. So please check us out at CURC3R on those. And again, thank you, Io, who is changing the look of those social media platforms to match our new branding and color palette. So thank you all for joining us today, and we all wish you a happy and sustainable 2024. Hopefully we'll see you in February at the webinar.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leanna. Thanks, Margaret.
Thanks.